Hello, my name is Mariam Yusuf, and I'm here today to record this presentation on behalf of the negative team, uh, Mr. Mamba and Mr. Awizoba. The topic we're going to talk about today is should private tech companies be allowed to develop AI models using African genomic data? So let us start by understanding what genomic data is. Genomic data refers to the complete DNA sequence of an individual or a population, encompassing all genes and their variations. When this data is fed into artificial intelligence models, especially machine learning and deep learning systems, it can be harnessed in several ways. For example, AI can help predict disease risks such as sickle cell anemia, customize treatments through precision medicine, identify new drug targets, understand health patterns within populations, and model complex interactions within genes and the environment. These capabilities make genomic data incredibly valuable for advancing healthcare and research. We firmly believe that private tech companies should not be allowed to develop AI models using African genomic data. This sensitive information should be handled exclusively by academic and public institutions that are accountable to the people and motivated by the public good, not profit. Allowing only these institutions to work with African genomic data ensures transparency, ethical use, and benefits that truly serve the communities involved. So let me present three key reasons why private tech companies should not develop AI models using African genomic data. First, genomic data is sensitive, sovereign resource. African genomic data represents a collective cultural and biological heritage. It's not just information, it's deeply tied to identity and community. Like land or minerals, these data requires sovereign control and cannot be treated as a commercial commodity. Second, private companies prioritize profit over the public good. These tech firms are driven by shareholder values and profits, not ethical responsibilities or fair outcomes. History shows they often exploit data from the global south without properly sharing the benefit with the communities that provide the data. Third, academic and public institutions are more accountable. They operate under strict ethical review boards, comply with national laws, involve local researchers, and can be held accountable by citizens. These ensure that data is used transparently and responsibly for the genuine benefit of communities involved. Continuing with the concerns, the fourth point is the risk of health inequities and biocolonialism. If private companies dominate AI development using African genomic data, several harmful outcomes could follow. Drugs developed may be priced beyond the reach of African populations. AI models might be trained on African data but primarily serve health priorities of the global north, and this perpetuates a system of extraction without fair reciprocity. This digital form of colonialism exploits African biology to generate profits elsewhere, deepening existing inequalities. Fifth, capacity building and sovereignty must come first. Africa urgently needs to develop its own AI research, genomic infrastructures, and robust data governance policies, allowing powerful global tech companies access to African genomic data before these foundations are established, risks repeating the extractive and exploitative mistakes of the colonial past. Protecting sovereignty means prioritizing local empowerment and control over these critical resources. For the refuter point, some argue that private companies accelerate innovations and thus should be allowed to work with African genomic data. However, innovation without proper regulation can be dangerous. Speed should never come at the cost of safety, equity, or sovereignty. Protecting public health and ensuring data justice must take priority over private sector innovation. Others say public institutions lack the capacity to handle this data effectively. The real solution is not to hand control over to unaccountable private firms, to invest in building the capacity of public and academic institutions. Capacity can be developed over time, but once sovereignty is lost, it's incredibly difficult to reclaim. Some may say private companies bring valuable resources and talent on the table. While collaboration is important, true partnership must happen under public leadership with strict guidelines, not by giving private firms full access and control. African governments and universities need to set the rules and lead, other than being junior partners in their own genomic future. Others argue that with proper regulation, private access would be safe. However, African regulatory frameworks are still developing. Allowing private access now risks abuse before adequate protections are in place. It's far better to prevent harm upfront than try to regulate after damage has been done. And finally, African genomic data is not just a string of code. It embodies ancestry, identity, and the future of millions of people. We cannot entrust it to those who see only profit. Instead, we must protect it for those who see people, who value community, ethics, and equity. The real question is not whether AI should be built using African DNA. The question is who builds it, who benefits from it, and who is held accountable. Only public and academic institutions can answer these questions with the integrity and responsibility this data demands. Thank you so much for listening. Those are some references used in this presentation.